Here it is. What I would consider a barn find Supra. One owner, 143,000 miles, and now it's mine. All right, before we get to today's video, it's your last chance to get your new Super Speeder shirt. That's the blue one, which I'm doing the giveaway for the Adventure Drive trip, which is coming up in about 10 days. So the drawing is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to pick a winner. Noon tomorrow, I'll announce it and send an email to everybody that's purchased, and I'll also put it up on my Instagram. So check it out if you want to get in. There's about 500 or so, I think, 500 or 600 that have sold. So your odds are really pretty good. I said I'm going to sell up to 1,000. If I don't, I'm still giving it away. Click the link in the description, score yourself a shirt, and hopefully I'll see you in Canada. It's like my second home here at Corsa Motors. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti, and checking out and picking up some of my cars. I think this one is good to go. And I mean, it could use a wash, but look how nice my new interior looks on my NSX. That is now NSXE. Get it? NSXE. I'm sure somebody's got that license plate. But car looking good, but that's not why we're here. We're going to check out my other import, and I'm not talking about that little one over there. I'm talking about my Supra. We got the Supra in today. We're trying to get this thing up and running, and I'll show you what we're looking at. So James is working on getting this thing started and seeing if he can figure out what I couldn't, which he will. And I guess today we identify whether the ratchet Supra is a better project than smashed up Ferrari 488? Yeah, that's a hot mess, but we'll get into that in a second. But this is what $20,000 has gotten me. It got me this car, which I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, $20,000, it's ridiculous. But then a lot of people are like, oh my God, $20,000, I'll give you 50 right now. So the supermarket is absolutely bonkers right now. This car, I effectively just bought a shell. We were able to get the seat to go up. I'm gonna lose these seats altogether. It's pretty ugly. The bones are good. The bones are there, but it's gonna take a little bit of work. Now, we're just trying to see why the fuel pump is not sending fuel, but the fuel pump wasn't getting power. Otherwise, the car here is, I don't know, it's a work in progress. I brought over my NSX wheels. These are the wheels that came on my NSX, and I ran them over earlier today, and they actually look pretty good up against the car. I think they fit without any, like, without anything special. So somebody looked it up, and they're like, yeah, it should be good. And now this car, the question was, do I sell this car for the quick flip, which I could make money on it, or do I modify it and make a Supra that I want? Obviously, I think those are going to work. I'll put a nice big brake kit under there. I'll do the body work. It's got the gold package on this thing. Look at this. Little gold ring. I know it's like, it adds to the value, but it's just not me. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm going to do a full build on it. What I've spent so far in this car is $20,000, but then the first problem I have is right there. It's that automatic transmission. So then I spent another 10 grand to get a V160, which is the factory Supra transmission, the manual one. Another $500 or $600 on eBay for a pedal kit, and I will have a full swap, and it'll go out to Petrol Works in Long Island, and first thing I'll do is swap this over. Once I get it running and drive it around as a stock automatic, which is going to suck, I will get it out there and swap it over and get it running as a stock 6-speed swap turbo car. Then the mods begin, then it gets fun. Then we're going big. I'm talking everything in this car. like ideal Supra, we're talking big brake kit. We're going to do full suspension, coilovers, built motor, and then I'm going to do a sequential twin turbo setup on this car. So instead of a big single turbo like you're used to, there'll be a smaller turbo feeding a bigger turbo, and then the one will kick, not feeding a bigger turbo, but the smaller turbo will kick on first, the bigger turbo kicks on later. It's a more linear power band, and I'm looking to make 700 to 1,000 horsepower on this car, and it'll be a great fun driving car, and I'll keep this one, and I'm probably going to get rid of the other one. Now, the question is, as I posed it to you, would you take this Ferrari 488 or this Supra Project on? And I honestly think this is a better play, because this is such a hot mess of a vehicle. If you look at this 48 and you're like, wait, where did the exhaust tips come out of? And then you realize somebody put these stupid plates in the back to make it look like an exhaust was there, or there was some really dumb aftermarket exhaust, because the exhaust tips would normally come out there, but they're obviously significantly bigger than this. Then you're like, all right, well, this is a little bit of a hot mess, and you start to get into it. And as you make your way around the car, and you can ignore the duct tape and everything else that's smashed up, you're going to see some glaring issues that say, I would run from this car in a heartbeat. Not like the mirror missing, that's one thing. But you look at something like this, and you say, what doesn't look right here? Right? That is a Subaru brake disc on the front of a Ferrari 488. That means the brake disc is gone, and they put random brake disc on there. So why, I have no idea. Maybe it's just a roll around. There's damage sort of everywhere on this car. Windshield needs to be replaced. You see the cracks in the windshield, and they just got a piece of tape on it there. This top, I would love to know the history on this car. The story is, I think it went through auction. The guy bought it for like 80 grand. I'll tell you what, this thing is so effed, I would strip it down and sell it for parts. But it looks like somebody already pulled a bunch of parts off of it. They actually got this thing running the other day, and it just smoked out the entire shop.
Too much oil?
This is just made to look like it doesn't even look like a light. This looks like a red piece that is designed to look like a tail light for photos. But I don't see any evidence that there was ever a tail light here. Yeah, this is as they call in the industry, a grand old hot mess. This is red, and this car is white, so this doesn't even really make a lot of sense. But, I mean, everywhere you look on this thing, it's a new surprise. And I would run from this car. So if you're going to ask me, and obviously I'm the one doing it, I would obviously do the Supra, which is what I am doing. This thing, believe it or not, one of you guys is going to see this thing up for sale and maybe even make an offer. You're going to be like, wow, it's a 48 Spider and it's pretty cheap. And you're not going to realize it once looked like this, because the person that's going to sell this car is going to make it seem like it was a cream puff with somebody backed into it in a parking lot. But that is a hot mess that I would run from. So back to this car, I'm going to bring it and get it washed after we get it running, like a full wash to just clean it up. We'll swap the seats, swap the transmission, swap the wheels, make sure it's safe to drive, and then we'll start doing the build on it. Now, I know you're used to the Ferretti builds, which take forever. This one, I'm just going to throw money at and get it done. This one is going to go out to Petrol Works, over to Mo, and I have a goal of getting it done inside 30 days of when I drop it off to him. So that means we'll have all the parts lined up. I'm going to reach out to the handful of sponsors to see if anyone wants to get anything on the car. Maybe we'll get some Garrett turbos, are always nice. We'll get a nice StopTech big brake kit or Brembo. We'll talk to, see who wants to throw some parts at it. But we're going to make this a keeper, and we're going to make this a pretty badass car. I'm going to do the same sort of body modifications that I've done on my other Supra. I'm going to swap the hood and the nose. Everything else will be pretty much stock except for the interior, which obviously, you know, it's rough in there. I'll lose the seats, probably swap the back seat. I'll probably switch over to like Recaros or something like that, some sort of aftermarket racing seat. And then obviously I got to get new door skins on it, new door trim. But like this, I still don't understand what this is. This seems like the guy had his arm on this forever and just wore a hole, and this was the simplest way to hide the hole with a piece of leather. This guy, and I swear to you, is everything I like about car guys, because this guy drove this car. It's a one-owner car with all the VIN tags. When I say VIN tags, you can look that the car's never been in an accident. See, you get the VIN tag here. You got the VIN tag on the back, and there's, I think, 11 or 12 VIN tags on the car up here. So you've got all the VIN tags, so it's a good, clean car. But the guy drove the crap out of it. He's got a one-owner, 143,000-mile car. The seats went. The guy has no regrets. Now, his family is the one who sold it because he ended up passing away ultimately. And it's just one of those things that this is the guy you want to be. Nobody's going to die being like, wow, I'm really glad I sat on that Countach for 40 years so my family could make some money. No, you're thinking back and saying, wow, I'm really glad I had that car that I loved. I drove it. I kept it. I didn't care what it was worth. I drove it. I kept it. I enjoyed it. And then somebody else will clean it up when I'm done. So wish me luck on the project. I'm going to say we're going to get this thing running, washed, but I'm going on adventure drives. I'm going to say by September 1st, this car is going to be awesome. So that is my timeline. I'll do a couple of videos updating that as we go. But September 1, this car is going to be ready to go as a awesome modified Supra. And I, budget-wise, want to say I'm going to throw another 30 grand at it, although I just threw another 10 for the transmission. So it's probably going to be more than 20. So yeah, another 30. So I'll be 60,000 into this car, but it'll be nasty, and I'll be very happy with it. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching here at Corsa Motors. If you see this car, I'm not going to give you the VIN number because I don't know whose it is, so I don't want to burn the guy. But be careful when you're looking at Ferrari 488s, because one of them is this, and it will be for sale eventually.